My favorite thing in Japan isn't all the shrines, the anime, and cool nightlife. It's eating yakiniku. In Japanese, the word yakiniku is a combination of two kanji characters, yaki meaning grilled and niku meaning meat. Simple enough, grilled meat. Maybe simple, but it's almost sacred in Japanese culture today. Long ago, meat wasn't a very common dish for Japanese people to eat. Japan's Buddhist religion discouraged killing animals, and back in the 7th century, Emperor Tenmu banned eating meat from cows, horses, dogs, chicken, and monkeys. And that ban lasted over 1,000 years. People mainly ate fish, seafood, and vegetables. Wild game like boar and deer was sometimes consumed, but it was pretty rare and mostly in remote rural villages. That all changed in the late 1800s when during the Meiji Restoration, Japan opened to the world. That Western influence brought new foods, and the emperor himself ate beef in 1872 to show that it was modern and acceptable. Eating meat became a symbol of progress. Then World War II happened, food was scarce again, and meat all but disappeared from the Japanese diet. People survived mostly on rice, vegetables, and sweet potatoes. In fact, the war and its after effects and yakiniku have a lot of history together. After Japan's surrender in 1945, the occupying American forces brought back beef, dairy, and bread. And these new foods became symbols of recovery and modern life. Slowly, meat began to return to the Japanese diet. The return of meat took time and patience though, as people tried to waste as little as possible. There wasn't that much meat. There's this little alley in Tokyo called Amoide Yokocho that is today really famous for having these small, tight shops that only a few people can fit in at a time, and it's often cited as a must-see place for tourists visiting Tokyo. But not many people talk about the history of this place. In fact, the history is that this was a sneaky little back alley for grilled offal. Meat products like liver, intestine, and hearts. All the parts that would otherwise be wasted if they weren't eaten. Meat wasn't very common, so these parts were more common and more accessible, making meat available to everyone. But meat did gradually grow more and more popular and became more available, and then in the 1950s, a whole new kind of dining experience started spreading through major cities like Osaka and Tokyo. You see, Korean immigrants introduced their version of grilled meat, which the Japanese adapted into their own style, yakiniku. Instead of one cook in the back preparing everything and cooking everything for you, diners would gather around small tables with their own grills, grilling their own slices of beef over charcoal or gas flames right there at the table. It wasn't just about eating, it was about taking part in something together, sharing, drinking, and talking. Over time, yakiniku became more than a meal, it became a social ritual. I love to go out with my Japanese friends to yakiniku together on the rare occasions we could get time away from work, and it's such a fun social occasion. You grill a little, eat a little, chat a little. We're at some Wagyu beef shop and Erica is cooking our meat.
Clearly, I'm the one most familiar with handling meat.
Yakiniku is not just food, it's a social bonding experience. If you've ever tried Korean barbecue, yakiniku is similar, but differs in ways that matter to me personally. First, the cuts of beef in yakiniku are usually far thinner and universally higher quality. In a Korean barbecue setting, you usually get entire ribs and grill those in chunks, but the thinner pieces of Japanese yakiniku allow you to get exactly the perfect sear and doneness you're looking for in just a few seconds. Sometimes you can cook a piece for just a few moments. Sometimes you can throw it on when it's really hot and get a crispiness that is impossible elsewhere. Yakiniku is usually served with a tare sauce, usually a rich soy sauce, garlic, mirin combination. In fact, the word tare literally just means sauce. At many places, it's common to get a little dish of dipping options, including salt or lemon, based on the cut of the meat that you're getting. Every restaurant has its own secret recipe for tare, and locals will often debate which place has their favorite tare sauce. There are many styles of yakiniku, so you might have to be careful where you go. One time, my friends and I got on the wrong train and wound up 3 hours north of Tokyo in Sendai. And all the yakiniku places specialized in gyutan, beef tongue, a specialty of Sendai. Other yakiniku places specialize in horomon yaki, meaning grilled organ meats. Now, where I'm from is one of the beef capitals of the world, and we rarely eat organ meats, so I try to avoid places that focus on this type of meat. But sometimes it's hard. You have to really read the menu first. Now, my favorite places specialize in kalbi, or pronounced karubi, which is grilled, marinated short ribs marinated in a soy sauce. It's my favorite cut. Now, at high-end restaurants, you'll find only the most prized beef, Japanese Wagyu. Even if you've had the best of the best when it comes to other beefs, Wagyu is in a class of its own. Its intricate marbling gives it this buttery texture that melts as it hits the grill. That means when you take a bite, it's incredibly soft and rich. Each region of Japan has its own brand of Japanese Wagyu. Kobe beef from the Hyogo prefecture, whose capital is Kobe, Matsusaka beef from Mie, Omi beef from Shiga, and Hida beef from Gifu. Each has a slightly different flavor, so you can totally go out and try them all and decide which is your favorite. I've had a lot of Matsusaka beef at my favorite yakiniku place, a tiny restaurant in Kabukicho, the nightlife district of Shinjuku. What's amazing about this place is that they close at 9 in the morning. Kabukicho is a very famous nightlife district in Japan, and it's common to stay out until the first morning trains start around 5 or 6 in the morning. So you might be out after a long night of drinking, hanging out with friends, doing karaoke, ready to catch a train back home, and decide to stop in for some delicious yakiniku to soak up all that alcohol. In fact, this place is such a nighttime district that this shop doesn't even open until 7 p.m. The walls are darkened by smoke and the air smells like sizzling fat and charcoal, but the meat is incredible and practically dissolves on your tongue. What's interesting is this is probably the most expensive part of Tokyo. There's a shop selling secondhand Gucci bags right across the street. Brand name designer stuff. But you're still only likely to spend $30 a person on dinner here. Food in Tokyo is so cheap. Kabukicho itself never sleeps. Neon lights flash, music spills out of bars and karaoke clubs, and crowds of people drift through the narrow streets. It's wild, chaotic, and full of life. At my favorite yakiniku spot, you can feel that same energy. Salarymen unwinding after work, hosts and club staff grabbing late night meals, and travelers chasing one last taste of yakiniku before sunrise. When you sit there, grill glowing red, beer in hand, and the first bite of smoky, salty beef hits your tongue, it feels like time slows down. You can taste centuries of history in that one moment. The old Buddhist restraint, the Meiji embrace of the West, the post-war rebirth, and the modern Tokyo that never stops moving. That's what makes yakiniku so special. It's not just grilled meat. It's Japan's story, told through fire, flavor, and the simple joy of sharing food with the people around you. I'm Ryan. Click this next video